Hi folks, it's Kieran here. I am at Desborough Skate Park for trick 2 in my end of year 2022 challenge. Today we're going to have a crack at nose stalls. Now the nose stall is a pretty scary trick, I'm not going to lie. I'm already feeling pretty anxious about this one, but I think it's a trick that I'm definitely capable of doing. I think, this is famous last words, I don't think it's technically very hard. It's obviously just very, very scary because of the whole switch drop-in scenario. So obviously going to do it on the nice little quarter pipe here at Desborough. The plan is I'm going to have a little warm up and then I'm going to do a few on the top of the bank, just to sort of get my mind flicked into that idea of leaning in on my nose and then obviously coming back in switch on something that's not as scary as actual coping, and then I'll have a blast at it on the quarter pipe. I'm just going to go straight for trying to get into the nose stall and then coming back into it rather than sort of trying to drop in switch. I've been watching a bunch of videos on YouTube of sort of like how to do this trick just to get an idea of which way around people do it, and it seems to be pretty split. Some people suggest learn the switch drop in first because obviously then once you're in the nose stall you know the feeling of getting it out, and the other school of thought seems to be just go for it, get into the nose stall and like try not to think about it too much and just try and come back in switch. I think I'm definitely gonna go for the second of those two options. The reason being is I know what I'm like. I'm a pretty anxious, fearful person. I feel like I will waste a lot of time and energy if I try and learn how to do a switch drop in first. I'll just probably end up stood on top of that quarter pipe for way too long. The chance of me psyching myself out are far too high if I just try and switch drop in first before we go into the nose stall. Whereas I think if I just go for the nose stall, there's a greater chance that if I get into it I may just be able to like force a full commit on the whole trick and come in switch. So yeah, I'm expecting this one to be pretty difficult, I'm not gonna lie. I'm very anxious, very nervous about it even before we start, but that's the whole idea of these tricks. These are all tricks that scare the crap out of me, quite frankly. So yeah, let's just get on with it. I'm filming on my phone today, so if the cameras are all weird and wonky, I apologise. I forgot to charge my GoPro. So, but yeah, let's we'll have a little warm up, a few tricks on the quarter pipe, then we'll go straight into the nose stalls on the bank, and then we'll yeah, try it on the quarter pipe. I have to stop talking because then I have to go and do it, but I don't want to stop talking. I just want to, yeah, let's do it. Right, managed a handful at the top of the bank. Some of them decent, some of them a bit pants. I've definitely massively underestimated this trick already. It was a lot more difficult to work out the timing and getting the speed right to get to the top of the bank and stall. And I think I was doing what I always do, which is I kind of like hop out a little bit. I sort of just shuffle my weight back into the ramp, and I don't think that's going to work when I'm trying to come back in on a quarter pipe where it's a lot steeper and I have to really commit to slamming that foot down and making sure I shift my weight correctly. So yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is I'm not sure if doing it at the top of the bank has helped at all. So I'm going to just crack on with it. I've not done anything else on the quarter pipe. This is typical Kieran. I'll have a good warm up and then I'll start, and then I just kind of get impatient and just have to go for it. So yeah, let's just throw some out, see if we can work out, if I can work out the speed and the timing to get into it. That'd be a pretty big win, and then we can just take it from there. I think, like I said, when I came here today, again, very naively, I thought it would just be a case of I'll be able to roll up and get into it pretty quickly, or it wouldn't take me long, and then I could just, you know, get over the fact that I've got to drop in switch. But now I'm starting to think actually there might be a bit more to this trick than I initially thought, so it might take me a while just to get into one. But yeah, it's so much easier talking about doing the trick than it is going to do it. It's just like, it's therapeutic. I can talk about doing nose stalls all day. It's just the idea of trying one. So yeah, right, let's just get on with it. well, we got into it. It took what, 5, 6 tries. It's actually easier to get into on the quarter pipe than it is on the bank. Like, you can't overshoot it as easily. That's the first one where I've been able to, like, well, it's obviously the first one I properly got into, but I was able to level my shoulders to the point where I would have been able to come in, switch, and then obviously I just chickened out. So now for the tricky bit, we need to get into it and get a switch drop in so we can get out of this. So yeah, now it's all, well, 2 parts, making sure we can do that consistently, step 1, and 2 is beat the mind games, which is always the most difficult bit. Oh, come on. That was awesome. Do you know what? To be honest, once I started rolling in switch, I didn't feel as scary as I thought it was. Like, if you think of it as fakey, it's not too bad. I don't know how I did it, to be honest. Like, I just sort of made myself go for it, and next thing you know, I was rolling away. So I'm sure I can look at the drop in and critique it. I feel like I was a bit too light-footed, and if I do that, I can probably get away with it on a smaller ramp like this. On a bigger ramp, I'll probably eat shit, but I don't care. I'm stoked to have landed it. Want to get at least 1 more, 2 to make it true and all that, and we'll see where we are from there. Yeah, as always, you'll just, from here on in, you'll just see makes. I'm not going to leave attempts and stuff like that in. It's just a way of keeping the videos a little bit shorter, and, you know, yeah, it's just easier for me to edit. I don't know. Stop talking, do another no stall. There we go, folks, the nose stall. Finally managed to get one done. I say finally, it's the first session I've ever spent on one, but I've been thinking about this trick for a long time. I felt like I was physically capable of doing it for ages, and stoked to have got it. So yeah, managed to get 3 more, 4 in total. Shout out to Hunter Hall. He left a comment on one of my videos recently saying, you know, it's 2 to make it true, but 4 to be sure. I've definitely taken that to heart, Hunter, so I'm trying to make sure I get at least 4 of every single one of these tricks, just to be sure, obviously. So yeah, stoked with that one. It definitely needs a little bit of work. I'm very light-footed on my drop-in. I feel like I'm sort of nudging it away from the quarter pipe and then sort of like light-footedly floating down and hitting the ramp and rolling away. It's something that I can get away with on a smaller quarter pipe like this one, because it's something I feel quite comfortable with. When I've done things like ollies to fakie and stuff like that in the past, that's a trick that I really like doing on quarter pipes, that little floaty feeling. But I think if I took it to anything bigger and tried that, I would absolutely eat shit. But that's a problem for another time, as we keep building on these tricks. The main idea for today was to get out and do a trick that I was really anxious about. Like, I can't tell you how nervous and anxious I was coming out to try this. I've been building it up in my head. I dropped the wife off on the way here, and I was saying to her, like, I'm genuinely, like, terrified of coming out to skate. I thought I would chicken out. I thought there was a pretty high chance of chickening out, let's say. But just shows if you push through, you can get these things done. Like, skateboarding's a weird one. At various points during your skate progression, you feel like you're physically or technically capable of doing a trick, and you just have to work through the mental barrier of actually doing it. And the mental barrier is a lot more difficult than the skill involved, I think, in a lot of the times with a lot of these things. And yeah, today's a great example of that. Like, I was bricking it to come out and try this, and yet we've done it. We managed to achieve something. So trick number 2 off my 10 trick list. Yeah, I've got 2 more transition based tricks to challenge. One is backside 50-50 grinds, which isn't as scary a one. It's just about something that I just need to practice and work on, and I won't do that here. I want to find somewhere where I've got a bit of an easier run up and a little less to think about before I can get into the 50-50 grind. And the other one is frontside axle stalls, which I will probably come down and try on this quarter pipe, that quarter pipe again. That's another one that I think combines a little bit of, there's a bit more to it technically, and it's scary as hell because you have to come in backwards. So yeah, but all in all, stoked for today's progression. Huge thank you to everyone who watches the videos. I really appreciate everyone who does. Don't forget to leave a little like on the video, drop any comments down below, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I'll see you next time when we'll be trying another trick from my 10 trick end of year challenge thingy. If anyone can think of a snappy name, leave that in the comments below.